So I guess the main idea here is that the world is complex, and we can't really understand it as such. If we were to model it or map it or draw it in one way or another in all of its complexity, we would be back at the starting point, right? We would be just as lost with our model as we are with reality, right? And so in understanding reality, of course, we need to simplify it to be able to understand it better, to analyze it. But in many ways, we have oversimplified it in the way we think about things in this reductionist fashion, mostly because we had no other choice. But in the 20th century, with the advent of the computer and the immense powers it's brought us, my feeling is that, especially in the social sciences, we just have not been able to learn how much computer power there is and how we can use it. So there's not enough people out there that are speaking to each other, right? Like the computer scientists on the one hand being able to say, hey, I know exactly what you're talking about, let me put it into a computer model. And the social scientists, for example, trying to say, okay, let me, now that we have this vast amount of power, be able to try to explain something. So even though I can say, I don't ascribe myself as somebody that does neoclassical economics or likes it in that way. I think it has many oversimplifications. At the same time, I'm very happy that I studied it, because when I try to explain this novel way of thinking to other people, I'm able to say, yes, I understand where you're coming from, and that's very useful for many things, right? There's many aspects of reality that can't be studied very efficiently in this kind of analytical reductionist view, but there's going to be others that cannot. And so in understanding how wealth is created, why some countries are wealthy and some others are not, I think we have absolutely lost something when we try to reduce an economy to simple little agents, whether it be consumers or companies that are maximizing their objective function in one way or another. You have totally lost the structure that society represents, and that's something that is essential in order to understand wealth creation. So once again, I just frankly believe that wealth is created at the level of society. So we need to understand society in that way. We need to understand the United States as a factory that works well, that is well-oiled, and not sort of go into each one of the different parts of the factory and say, you know, this is a good screw.